be honest with you. I think we're talking about 0.05%.
Sure, but let's tax them even more.
I specifically want to make it illegal to be almost as wealthy as you. Not quite, but a little bit more. Like, I want to make it not illegal. You're not going to go to jail.
So nobody can be no billionaires. No billionaires in America.
Absolutely.
Sam,
100%.
Why? Don't you want America to be known for greatness, for innovation, for capitalism, for all the amazing things that we've done in this country?
My definition of
you want to go to like Nordic socialism.
My definition of greatness is different from yours.
Patrick Bet David invited Sam Seder, known for his controversial viewpoints, onto the PBD podcast on valuetainment, and things quickly heated up. Sam Seder launched into some personal attacks, but as expected, Patrick Bet David didn't back down. Instead, he held his ground and dismantled Seder's arguments live on the podcast. Let's dive into this intense exchange where Patrick Bet David takes on Sam Seder's woke rhetoric and delivers a powerful rebuttal. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads.
Money was so freaking cheap for so long that we have to pay a price for it. And now you're looking at the economy. It looked like everything was good, but a big part of it was fake, Sam. We had a lot of fake success the last few years.
Well, I mean, look, I'm just measuring on, again, the way I view things is what's going to make things better for the most amount of people. And in terms of it being in favor of the capitalists, I would also change our tax policy. So, I mean, I would claw some of that back, quite a bit of it back.
What would you do?
I would return to the tax policy when we had the greatest, sort of the widest economic expansion shared by more people as a percentage of our population than any other time in this country, which was in the 50s and the 60s. And I would return to the tax rates more or less there. So your top tax rate at that time was 90%, top marginal rate, for every dollar over $470,000 you would earn. So that would be equivalent to around $3 million today. I think we should return to that type of tax
You want it
scheme.
to go as high as 90% at the top marginal tax
At the top marginal tax rate. So understand, that only kicks in with every dollar above $3 million.
I hear you. And I mean, that's the famous Reagan situation where I think it was anything over $200,000 at that point. This might have been in the 40s, that he would only do 2 movies a year because he'd get paid $100,000 per movie, and then he wouldn't even do a third movie because he would only get 10% of the revenue because he's like, fuck it, I'm not doing another movie.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that curb growth?
When Reagan started telling that story, you know who he was working for when he started telling that story, right? He was going around, I think it was for working for GE, trying to convince people not to get Medicare for all. I mean, if Reagan could have gotten 3 movies or 5 movies, he would have done it. He was working with chimps. He would have been happy to do that for his career, believe me.
Please. Okay, so let me ask you this question. If YouTube took their AdSense from 55 to 15, would you continue creating content?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure.
You'd continue creating content?
I wasn't doing YouTube for a long time.
How do you make a living today?
I have membership. That people pay. I get ad revenue from different places.
Okay, so let's just say the membership that you get from Patreon or whoever it is, okay? What if their fees went from them keeping 5% to 60% to 90%? Would you continue creating content?
I mean, I would probably have to cut back if there was that.
Exactly.
Well, but that's only because it's such a big change.
No, because that's the part about incentive, Sam. So your audience gets to enjoy you.
I'm not saying we'll cut the revenue for these businesses. I'm saying that the amount of
you
money...
have no choice, though, because you're paying these guys. You need the revenue.
No. I'm not suggesting we cut revenue for businesses. What I am suggesting is after that revenue comes in... and we divvy up and I have my net profits, then my taxes would go up. But I will say this, if, let's say, the taxes went up on me personally, would I stop going on YouTube? No.
So would you be able to scale it how many employees you got working for you right now?
I'm not talking about cutting revenue,
I get that. How many employees are working for you right now?
We have payroll, I think, 6 or 7
Okay,
people.
you got 6 or... That's a small business you got there, right?
Sure.
6 or 7 people. Okay. If all of a sudden AdSense went up. The fees for your Patreon. I don't want to offend you when I say Patreon. I don't know who you use. Whoever you use that's got your membership stuff that you got.
We use Fans FM.
Okay, there you go. That's a shout out to them. So Fans FM,
Right in
Fans
there.
FM,
Fans.fm. It's actually a great
Fans.fm.
service.
Okay, fantastic. So if they raised
Take
it,
less than Patreon.
if they take 50%, all of a sudden, and they say YouTube says AdSense goes to 15%, would you be able to employ those 6 people?
No, if my well, I don't know, but probably
Maybe that's because you're rich.
No,
because
probably not. But I'm not suggesting that we cut revenue for businesses. I'm suggesting that what is left over from revenue, if it's over $3 million that goes into the pocket of the owner of this enterprise, that $300 million and $1 gets taxed
Let's
at
have fun with this.
90 cents.
Let's
Ask you a question.
And I was a single guy who had just gone from making to $22,000 a year to all of a sudden making that
How much were
in
you
less
making
than a week.
at that point?
I mean, I was making a lot of money.
Now, how comfortable at that point would you have been paying 90% in taxes?
Sure.
So you actually want to pay 90% in taxes?
No. Let's
Why
be,
would
let's
you
be
want
clear.
that?
I think it should be 90% over for the every dollar you make over $3 million.
Yeah.
That would not have impacted me at that time. But I would have been happy to pay more taxes.
But why would anyone want to?
You know why I'm laughing? Because it's always let's tax the people a little richer than me. It's always let's tax
Well, it was
the guys
a
that
lot richer. But I'm just
no,
going
not
back.
that, not
no,
that.
but I'm just doing,
If you're saying 20,
I'm just going back
if you're
to
saying
what,
22 a week, you were
I'm just
making
looking-
$1,098,000. That's a lot of money.
No.
You're making $1
Well,
million.
it wasn't 20.
You said 22 a week. That's $1 million a year.
No. That was the year before. I mean,
But you're making money. Let's just.
I was making a bunch of money. But I'm just going back to when we had the Great Compression, which was when we had the least wealth inequality in this country. We had the GDP was, consistent with where, on our trajectory, but it was spread out. It wasn't like this, essentially. It was more spread out. It's called the Great Compression. And I'm just using that figure. I mean, look, if it's going to be 85% over 3 million or 85% over 4 million, I'm just basing it on what was the most successful economic era of this country.
Why not do 90% over $250,000?
I mean,
rich.
if the numbers bear it out, I'm agnostic as to that. Again, I'm just pegging it on when we had the most success in this country in terms of our economy.
I have to disagree here. When someone can logically argue their position, I respect it a lot more, but it feels like Sam Seder is just doing mental gymnastics to justify his stance. For me, and probably for most of you watching, this idea is utterly ridiculous for several reasons. First, as I mentioned earlier, successful people like Patrick Bet-David shouldn't be penalized with higher taxes just because they provide more value to the marketplace. Sam Seder's suggestion that people shouldn't make as much as Patrick Bet-David reeks of a loser mentality, a defeatist mindset that says, I'll never achieve that level of success, so no one else should either. Second, in an ideal world, paying higher taxes would mean better services and a stronger country, even contributing to a better world overall. But we don't live in a perfect world. We live in a deeply flawed one where tax dollars are often wasted or misused. Just the other day, we heard about billions supposedly being accidentally sent to the Taliban. Meanwhile, we're taxed on everything: income, spending, investments, you name it. And where does it go? It's funneled into inefficient programs, mismanaged foreign aid, and pork barrel projects. That's why I say taxation feels like theft. Not only are the funds often misallocated, but they're also sometimes used for things that run counter to the public's interest. This is why it's frustrating when people like Sam Seder call for even higher taxes on the wealthy or criticize someone like Donald Trump for legally minimizing his tax burden. Trump isn't doing anything illegal. He's simply using the existing tax code to his advantage. I see that as savvy, not unethical. When tax money is just going to fund unnecessary wars, wasteful spending, or programs that don't align with the taxpayers' values, it's hard not to question the system. So, I'm not on board with the idea of increasing taxes just because it's theoretically fair. In reality, it's anything but. Instead of punishing those who succeed, we should be questioning why our tax dollars are misused in the first place. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if you think I'm missing something.
I appreciate that you're pointing out the success, but right now the top marginal tax rate federally is 37, 39. Okay, you do realize how shocking it is to say, all right, rather than go from 37 to 39, how about 40?
How many
How about
people-
50?
how many
You want to
people-
go to 90?
How
say.
many people do you
90.
assume? How many people do you assume would be touched by that tax? Would be implicated?
Top
by
1%.
it?
Look at this number right here. Share of total income
less.
taxes paid.
Less.
The top 1% in this country pay 42.3%. The bottom 50% only pay 2.3%. So 150 million people are paying nothing in taxes.
Right.
And you want to keep the 1% paying more and more and
I think
more
it's
and more?
actually even less than 1%, to be honest with you. I think we're talking about 0.05%.
Sure,
But let's tax them even more.
I specifically want to make it illegal to be almost as wealthy as you. Not quite, but a little bit more. Like I want to make it not illegal. You're not going to go to jail.
So nobody can be no billionaires.
No billionaires.
No billionaires in America.
Absolutely.
Sam, that's-
100%.
Why? Don't you want America
I'll
to
give
be
you
known
an-
for greatness, for innovation, for capitalism, for,
I want-
for all the
my
amazing things that we've done in this country?
My definition of
You want to
greatness-
go to like Nordic socialism?
my definition of greatness is different from yours.
People like Sam Seder don't realize that taxing the wealthy as heavily as he suggests would kill the very innovation that drives progress. Imagine if we imposed these extreme tax rates on the world's greatest inventors and entrepreneurs. People like Elon Musk, who take enormous risks to create companies like Tesla, SpaceX, or even turn platforms like X into hubs of free speech. These individuals would lose all incentive to innovate. Whether or not you like electric cars or space exploration, it's undeniable that such innovation pushes humanity forward. Take Reagan, for example. He famously stopped making more than 2 movies a year because, after a certain point, he would only keep 10% of his income due to high tax rates. And that's exactly how most people would react under Seder's tax plan. Why bother striving to earn more when the government will just take most of it? It stifles ambition and creativity. The idea of taxing success so heavily doesn't just strip away money, it strips away the drive to make groundbreaking changes that benefit society. History shows us time and again that communism and excessive taxation do not work. They not only drain resources through misallocation, like funneling tax dollars into foreign wars or inefficient programs, but they also kill the spirit of innovation. Without the potential for personal reward, why would anyone take the risks needed to invent, create, and improve the world around us? It's also interesting to consider what Sam Seder's definition of greatness really is. He seems to dismiss the achievements of individuals who, like Patrick Bet-David, may not have invented anything but still play crucial roles in shaping industries, offering valuable insights, and providing opportunities. Everything around us, from the technology we use to the conveniences of daily life, exists because someone had the drive to create it, knowing they could be rewarded for their efforts. If we follow Seder's vision, our nation could risk sliding into economic stagnation or worse. We've seen it happen in other countries. It's not just theoretical. And while it's easy to dismiss such ideas as fear-mongering, the reality is that innovation thrives on freedom and opportunity, not on being told there's a cap on how much you should achieve. Honestly, I think Seder knows this too. Maybe he's just playing to his base, grifting off the audience that buys into his narrative. Let me know in the comments what you think about Sam Seder's attacks on Patrick Bet-David, saying he doesn't believe anyone should be as rich as Patrick. What's your take on this debate from the PBD podcast? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.